I mean, not like
yeah. Like I
it's
said,
well
it's just
known, dude. That like you can get a white like. Well, yeah, you could call it wavelengths. You can call it whatever you want. But this is if they say refraction, right? The same thing that we use to design lenses is happening. The same thing we compensate for to design lenses is diffraction, right? Just spreading of the wavelengths of light, this spreading of the colors. We would observe that, but we don't.
You see where do you see the problem with that statement, though?
What's the problem with the statement?
Like you said, we would observe this, but we don't observe this.
That's
no. If what I'm saying is their claims that the only reason we see things far away is because the atmosphere is refracting the light and causing it to bend around the curve. If that was actually happening, we would also see chromatic aberration. That is what I'm saying. But because we don't see the chromatic aberration, refraction is not the reason we're seeing things far away. We're seeing things far away because they're there.
Yeah, it's more clear conditions.
Yeah, that's the deciding factor is the clarity of the air. That's it.
Right.
Every time I hear a wave packet, I have like a shiver run down my back because I know they're getting ready to do a reification of something. Like they're getting ready to work outside the convention they built with a different convention to make a claim about something that has nothing to do with the convention they're talking about. Is what they're
doing. There's a bunch of models for light. We already know that.
Well, you can use their own
go ahead with it.
Claims. I think that's what he's pretty clearly saying, right? Like within the
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to listen. Literally what they say is, "Oh, refraction's happening, but only does one thing. It picks things up so you can see farther." But that's not the only thing refraction does. Does a bunch of things. I mean, there's been people running around making lenses and like having the lens maker equation and paying people. They're getting PhDs in optics and getting paid six figures because it's just a super simple thing. No, it's not. When they design a lens, they have to compensate for all these factors, right? Astigmatisms, chromatic aberration, petzval curvature, like all these different things they have to compensate for when they engineer and design a camera, eyeglasses, you name it, anything that uses a lens. But Goldberg's are just like, no, it just lifts things up. That's preposterous. It's just like everything else in the image looks normal, except for it just lifts things up. That's all refraction does. That's preposterous claim. We would see all these other optical effects that are known to happen when refraction actually happens. When we know refraction's happening. When we make a lens and we look through it. And Drake's brought this other point. We should also be able to see images inverted, not a mirage, an actual inversion of an image. Because I don't know if you ever take a magnifying glass, and if you hold it at one distance, it's upside down, but if you hold the magnifying glass at another distance, it's right side up. We should be seeing that. You should be able to walk towards something and it would be flipping. But we don't see that either. Never seen that.
Almost like when you look into a spoon, your face is upside down in the spoon.
Yeah, it depends on where you are relative to the focal point. So there should be they're literally, this is like the ultimate exercise of cherry picking. Like refraction can move the position of the way where something appears to be. And they're saying, this is what we're observing. But then they're saying all other things, they don't happen. That's not plausible. It's not even remotely plausible.
Well, when you really get down to it, it's even worse than that, because even refraction itself is just an attempt to try to explain the phenomena surrounding light, like within an inaccurate assumption. But it is hilarious that within that inaccurate assumption, because the effects are real, like you said, it's how we make lenses and cameras, etc. The effects are real. What they say is happening isn't real. It's definitely not real. It's just an ether perturbation. But like within that own paradigm, they exclude all the other phenomena of light and then claim one. So the argument is good, although still, it's like arguing within space paradigm, right?
Look, there's like 6 or 7 models for refraction. All of them are used for a particular engineering purpose, but they're not like, it depends on what you're using it for. But these are only models, right? They're not reality. So when they say things like, light's traveling at a different speed in a medium, that's just like, I don't think anybody's ever measured that. That's just something they're saying. They're like within their model. So if they assume this within their model, and you got to remember that this is also, this speed slowed down is reverse engineered, right? So we're like, we're gonna take a light, we're gonna measure how much it's deflected, and we're like, okay, this angle, because it was deflected this much, this means light slowed down this much. So blue travels at this speed in this medium. But they didn't actually measure the speed of light in that medium. They just used induction to fit it within their model. They didn't actually measure that.
Yeah, that's crazy, and that's why they have to come up with so many different models, because the actual how they define the phenomenon itself is inaccurate. So that's why they're like, oh well, our model doesn't work when we're actually trying to go do something. We have to make a new model. It's because the fundamental premise is wrong. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
what we know what they can't admit that they're just models. They don't mean anything. They're just models of reality. They aren't reality. There's not really a place called Liberty City where I can punch hookers. It's just a video game. It's a model of reality. It's not reality. And so are their models. They're just models of reality. They are not reality themselves. And they only accurately represent a small portion of the phenomenon they're even talking about.
Exactly. That little small portion alone at a time.
And with the terrestrial refraction, they took a really super small portion. They just cut everything off except for one thing. Oh, it picks things up. That's it. Everything else.
But you're describing, hold on a second, you're describing using conventions, and there's nothing inherently wrong with using a convention. It's when you assert that something outside of that convention. Like, we're using language to communicate. But if I assert that because I speak it, it's true, I'm working outside the convention.
Sure, conventions can be useful, but if your fundamental premise is wrong, it's destined to oblivion. So,
but how do you prove the fundamental premise is wrong? Like, which premise is wrong?
You have to prove the fundamental premise. I can easily prove their fundamental premise.
What premise are you talking about?
Light travel
the fundamental premise it's even more fundamentally wrong. The fundamental premise that's wrong is math is reality. That's the fundamental premise that's wrong. Period. Yeah, there's your fundamental premise that's wrong.
I don't think nobody would agree with
Glover thinks that.
The right mind. I mean, you can use math to describe reality, but you could use math to describe Harry Potter flying on his broomstick. Just because math doesn't make it true.
I don't know how many Globers, dude. I've actually had a Glober came in here and quit the server because we said math wasn't reality. He just had a meltdown, dude. Some people will defend mathematics more than they'll defend the globe, dude. That is the ultimate religion.
Well, it's a very accurate language.
I kept asking Jim. He was like, "How do you know that light rays don't bend around the earth? How could you say that?" I said, "Well, I'm not. It's the fact that they say it's theoretical. It's a mathematical framework that's not real." And he's like, "Well, how do you?" It's like, because they haven't proven that is the case. Like, what are you talking about?
I've been trying to figure out the psychology of that, and I think what I figured out is when you do a math equation, you got to figure it out, and you get an answer, and that answer is just intellectually satisfactory to those who are actually not that intellectual. Does that make sense? Like the people that aren't that good, the people that are really naturally good at math, have a very efficient aptitude, they aren't really they would never think that the math actually proves something. It's the people that actually are lower intellectually, ironically, they conflate that to intellectualism, because once they can get a solution, then they can convince themselves that they've inputted an intellectual conclusion. Does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out why you can't connect with people on this, and I think it's they learned how to solve the algebra equation, and so you can't take their answer away from them. It's no more complicated than that, in my opinion.
I was
I wouldn't
listening
attack,
to.
They
but
can't
I was
it's
think,
listening.
like, because
Hold on a minute.
their logic and reason has been, again, through the school system, effectively disengaged. So they don't have that. So through the if if something illustrates or says something, and then there's an authority to go behind it, this is what they're making a decision on. How much support something has, right? And if a math equation has a ton of support from people in, academia, then they're going to go with that because they don't know how to think for themselves.
well, yeah, but I don't think we should attack math so much because it's not math's fault that those people are idiots and are reifying concepts into physical things and then trying to
Yeah,
put them in equations.
That's what I was
this
trying
is
to
the
say.
thing.
I
This
was
is
like,
kind of the future of where we're going with everything too. Like I was watching Days of Noah yesterday, or listening to it, and he talked quite a bit about this. Like even with just with all the sciences, they're talking about basically getting away from empiricism and going to strictly these AI driven and made models. Like when it comes to your healthcare and everything, they want to do personalized healthcare, and it's all just computer modeling for everything. There's no actual experimentation, no science behind it. But that's why we're having so much trouble these days. Is like they're trying to get everybody to think that computer models is science, that it is definitive, that math is the reality. But yeah, whatever.
you know what I'm saying, and that would eliminate intellectualism or intellectual productivity for good if you make that shift.
Yeah,
But the other guy's
they're
saying that
doing
we
it right
shouldn't
now.
just math out. I think that's kind of my point. I'm saying the people that I know, like I'm not bragging or anything. I'm actually not. I don't know much how to do much math really now. But like when I was younger, I could do it really fast. And like when I would do my algebra honors class, whatever, I would finish the test really fast, and the teacher would think I was cheating because I'd only use like show 2 lines or something. But when you do it in your head, you understand it's nothing more than a thought experiment, basically, because it's all in your head. And these numbers don't mean anything. It's an algebra test that they put together. So, like, when you really understand it and can do it efficiently, you know it's valuable. It's actually very valuable because it's a very intricate descriptive tool, but it would never prove the substance because you have to have the proved substance to even describe. So, like, if you actually understand how to do math efficiently, you would never conflate it to proof of anything. And the people that run around being like, you can't even do math letters, you can't even do math and mathematically proven, blah, blah, blah. They're actually not very good at it, is I guess my point. It's like, they just learned how to do it. So it's kind of like teaching someone astronomy for 4 years. They're not going to say space is fake because it took them so long to understand it. And then some flat earthers went and just read Edwin Hubble on a PDF for free on the internet and know more than they do. Right. So it's kind of the same thing, I
I've had
think.
the same
Well,
experience.
that's the thing,
The
is
biggest
because
math zealots know the least about math,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
in my experience.
So the problem is that well, these people have a straw man or a different representation than what it is we're trying to say, because they already have in their mind, because of media, what we're trying to say about their practice or about their education or whatever, and it's easy to confirm your bias when someone has a YouTube channel that's like astronomy is like something, you know, all of the shit that anyone can say about cosmology or astrophysics or theoretical physics. But I spoke to a theoretical physicist one day in here, and trying to disengage his 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 thought process that I was there to attack him made things much smoother. Because I said, my man, like, you're a theoretical physicist. Like, it's like, and he's like, yeah, that's true. And I was like, so it's not like we're saying what you're doing is invalid. It's just not actually proving anything in the natural world. He's like, yeah, there are a lot of crazy concepts that I can't get on board with, but just to pass the class, I have to go with it. And I'm like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You get a job, and wherever you go get a job. But I just wish people didn't misunderstand where we were coming from. Like we're just saying, yo, where's the meat for the potato? Where's the earth in its geometry, so called, that all of this stuff is derivative from? Like, that's all we're asking.
It was once told as a good joke upon a mathematician that the poor man went mad and mistook his symbols for realities. That is such a like poetic, elegant, like, you're a dumbass.
Heaviside was the inventor of vector calculus, vector analysis, and he was self-trained. He wasn't a formal mathematician. He actually hated the mainstream. So
Who?
Oliver Heaviside.
Oh,
Yeah, he was incredibly good at math. I think that's just another perfect example I'm saying. The people that are really good at math, bro, like they know it's just math. So,
Yeah, I was just thinking how orbital mechanics is actually how to talk about a subject without talking about the subject.
Dude, that is pretty insightful. You're exactly right, man.
Right?
Mental
what's up,
masturbation. That's what I call it. Yeah, what's up, Ethan?
have you guys ever heard of sun pillars?
Nah.
You should look up
What's
sun
that?
pillars. Hey, Eli. Well, I don't want to get too much away because I got a surprise for you guys. But I just want you to know, Eli, you're really gonna love this. You're gonna be like obsessed with it. But you can go look up sun pillars, and I found out what's going on in my opinion. And I'm gonna make a little demonstration that directly imitates a sun pillar. And you've never heard of them. When you Google them, you'll barely find any shots of them. It's very interesting.
Yo,
I'm
dude.
gonna hit up DuckDuckGo. I don't got time for Google right now. I'm gonna go straight to DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, go to DuckDuckGo, sun pillars, go to the videos section on DuckDuckGo. It'll take you to the hidden YouTube ones that are on there.
Yeah,
Anyway, I was
about to
wondering if anyone heard of it. I had never heard of it. I'm like, where have I been?
check it
I've been
out
talking
right
about
now.
flat Earth for years.
That's the say, like that's the way I feel about that's the way I feel about conical refraction. Everybody talks about refraction this, refraction that, but not conical refraction. It's like, what's conical refraction? Why is nobody talking about
Yeah, I think sun pillars debunk the heliocentric model, bro. They're so beautiful too. It's awesome. It's like sundogs, right? Like, but it's even worse for them. But anyway,
Is it like is yo the way that the way that the light appears to wrap, it does appear like it's, I don't know, not maybe wrap's not a, I don't know, it just seems so weird how you can see these sundogs that are connected. It's like
it's
I heard
reflection.
somebody describing that's why we experience like sunsets and sunrises the way we do, because I look, I look to the west and I'm like, okay, I get it, but why does it look the same over there on the other side? Like, shouldn't I be? I don't, because it kind of all just changes together within your, for lack of a better term, sphere of influence.
Oh, I see pressure metal. Old dude just posted like the best video I was able to find. I actually have it in the video I'm making. It's incredible. Old dude at 58 minutes after the hour, bro. But just check it out and tell me what you think that looks like. And then in the next day or two, I'm gonna drop a video that shows pretty obviously what it is, and you can redo it.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Like Eli, I thought of Eli when I discovered it. I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to say too much right now, But Eli, I've heard you say something that is the actual answer. It's the correct answer, in my opinion. So you called it. So maybe that'll jog your memory. But I'll shoot you the video. It's really cool. I would drop it in here right now, some of my shots, but I just don't want to. I don't want to ruin the video.
The moon. Speaking of the moon's been really incredible lately. Like last night, I looked up. It's in the early evening, right after sunset, and now the lighted part, the sliver part, is fully on the bottom, almost just barely off the 6. And not like a couple of weeks ago when I saw it setting over the western hills and it was pointed straight up, the smallest sliver moon, and now it's at the bottom. It was totally not in the place that I thought it was going to be when I looked at time of date. It said it was like almost directly south. An hour later, I went out. I could not find it until I looked almost directly west and saw it up there, like in the middle of the daylight sky, right? Like this freaking little sliver moon with the sun no more than about 15 or 20 degrees to the right of it.
I want to give everyone a heads up. Precious Metals is supposed to start as soon as we get like one of the
We're
band
here.
leaders in here.
Hey.
Oh, you're here? Well, take over, damn it. What are you waiting for?
Well, actually, I'm glad that you're here because I was wondering that the new bot that you brought in, who can start, like who can do the command to use that to start recording? How does that work?
As of right now, only mods are up, but I'll start it.
Oh, okay, awesome. And then can you start the event as well and an announcement?
Yeah, I'm already looking at that. Yep,
awesome.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
But the bot is gonna end up sending me a link, right? And what it does is it makes, you'll see. I'll send you the link. I'll actually just send you the link because it sends me the link right away, so you can actually download it in real time as it's recording, or you can wait to the end and then. And it gives it. You'll see.
So
that's how you're going to get like clips and things, as little parts from the live stream.
Yeah, that way I don't have to deal with over talking because since it records each individual, I can edit out the over talking.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. Is that what that meant? Because I was reading about them, but I mean, I'm not like a techie person, so I didn't understand exactly what that meant. But that's pretty cool.
Multi-track. So I'm actually processing one on my laptop, ladies' night on my laptop. There's like 20 people, so it's taking forever. So
that's fucking genius, Indio.
Like you can either have them. You can either have them do it. You can have them do it on their server, but I just download it and process it myself because every time I tried to just download, because forgot to shut it off, so it's like 6 hours of audio or something.
Oh.
So the download keeps failing when I try to do it from them. So I just downloaded like the raw, and it's pretty cool, dude. Like what they're doing is pretty cool. But I'm gonna end up hosting because it's open source. I'm gonna end up hosting it myself, so I don't have to rely on them. And yeah, that's the way it's going to go. But once I do that, I'm going to make it so Golden Up are going to be able to activate it.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's awesome. That sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It should be a good feature for us to have.
All right. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks, Indio.
That's when there's a lot of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an excellent way to catalog the compendium.
Well, I wanted it like for the break time, right? So then that way that people can't, be there to actually listen to it. We can record it and then just have a file that everybody can just reference it or play. And actually, that's what you had said too, Sunny, the last time. I think that he had done the Tesla one. You're like, oh, that'd be awesome if we could replay it in the live stream. So if there's like downtime. So hopefully it works out. All right. We'll start Precious Metal Takeover. All right. Welcome to Precious Metal Takeover, everybody. I'll be your host along with Nathan. Welcome, Nathan. How are you today?
I'm really tired, but glad to be here and see such a strong number of people in the live stream. It's really nice that we can host this and have a good time together. Appreciate it, everybody.
Yes, thanks everybody for joining us. We ask that all the moderators and admins mute for the next 2 hours and allow the silver and golds to take on the conversation. Is there anybody new? Let's just take a look.
I noticed Whiskey Ben. He's new, or at least he's got the VC verified. I don't think we've spoken with him before.
Awesome. Whiskey Vent, are you there? I'm guessing he's not, but that's okay. Then
It is early in the morning.
Yeah. Well, could be.
Could be.
Could be. So we have, oh my goodness, Snuffleupagus. You have no roles. If you'd like to jump up into the VC check-in, hopefully somebody can follow you up there and get you the permissions that you can speak in the VC. So we have, as always, we have our question today, which is, if you know the truth behind any mystery, which would it be? Does anybody want to answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Box Ops. How's it going?
Good.
Good. All right, go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so first, is this, did you say it can't be FE related or it's anything?
I'm going to say non-FE related unless, let's try to keep it not FE for this time.
Cool, okay, that works. So the greatest mystery that I want to know about, that would have to be, when was the last big reset that like restarted civilization as we know it? What caused it? Was it man-made? Was it natural? I have no idea. So I think that's the biggest mystery to me. What do y'all think?
Yeah, that is an interesting one, actually. I agree. That would be what. Okay, well, you hear these things. What is it, like every couple thousand years, or I can't even remember what the time frame is now, that they say that these resets happen all the time. But I do think there is a lot of mystery.
Is it a cycle? Is it random? Like that's even like another layer. Like if it's on a cycle, that means like maybe people at the top know that it's a cycle and it could be like prepared for, and maybe they're like making it through these resets by like prior knowledge, but that's just speculation.
Yeah, and I think that like I've been looking into the sky. Oh, sorry, was somebody trying to say something? With the sky clock, like I think that there is cycles that the Earth goes through that we seem to go through, dependent like upon the energy and everything. So I don't know. I think it might be something like that as well. But that's the whole mystery, right? We don't know.
I think they're knowledge related myself. I think once everybody starts to figure out what's going on, as far as in general knowledge, people start figuring things out, and they don't, because the way things are going now, the information's out there about what's going on right now in all these different aspects. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take for people for it to get around to everybody, which is probably going to take quite a while, but I think they want to nip that in the bud. I think it's always been the problem. They just want to keep people dumbed down so they can control them in all aspects of their lives. And the knowledge base is getting too large. I think that's my personal opinion. That's when these things happen.
Oh, you're saying when like we become uncontrollable and people are thinking for themselves more? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because of knowledge.
Right.
Because we start to figure things out, and like the flat Earth, like that, and everything else that's going on. They just don't want. Of course, everybody knew what was going on, everybody would be outraged at this point, you know. So that's what they're trying to control, is as long as they keep everybody under their thumb.
Yeah, I would agree to that as well. Yeah, anybody else want to add? Because that was kind of when Nathan came up with that question. I mean, I thought it would be good for open discussion that everybody can kind of speculate as well if they want about that and what they think about the.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
would like to add a little something. Sorry, Kai, was you going ahead?
Oh yeah. Well, no, you can go ahead.
Hey, Kai, how's it going?
Hey.
Nice to hear you. Okay,
Long time no chat.
I know it's been such a long time. I miss like the old, like the ladies' nights when we used to all plasma.
I know. Just
But
the Charlie's Angels, like kicking mad butt.
yeah, those are the days. We'll have to get back to it. But okay, we'll let Nathan say what he wants to say, and then Kai, we're gonna get the floor.
Okay, so I was bringing up something Box Out said about the stars or whatever being like a cycle, right? He's brought up them being on a cycle.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about because I think it's called the Great Year, and it's like it takes 25,000 years. So basically, every 2,000 or so years, the sunrise on the equinox, the spring equinox, it occurs at a different sign of the zodiac, right? And
Right.
it's just interesting how that happens because it's like I think they call it the precession, and it's because the constellations go backwards rather than through the normal yearly cycle. And you know, I just think like the stars in the sky and all that stuff. I feel like it's got a lot to tell us and a lot to learn from. And maybe it's got meaning. You know, I feel like they're up there for a reason, and they do these patterns for a reason, and we just don't understand why or what they mean. But I think there is meaning behind it, and maybe we used to know it. Maybe we just don't know it now.
Yeah, I do think like a lot of that knowledge for sure has been lost, and we don't. I mean, I go stare up at the sky, but I don't really understand the movements of it, right? I'm trying to learn. So I think there is truth to that as well.
You want to go ahead, Kai? I was finished.
Oh, sure. So yeah, the question was like what you could learn more about, like other than flat Earth, right? Was that the
So the question it was about mysteries. So if you could know the
Okay.
truth behind any mystery, which would it be?
Okay, so now my new interest is the giant trees of the past. So I would pick that because I was trying to look in the scriptures to see what details they give, and I found this chapter in Ezekiel I had never heard of. And it talks about this tree that was so giant that all the nations took shade under it. All the birds of the earth had their nest in it. And then the tree was cut down, and now we all essentially live on the remains of this giant tree. And I'm sure people have seen like the pictures before of the giant tree stumps. But something that was so big that like everybody lived under it. I don't know. I just think that's such a fascinating idea, and it makes you rethink all of how we are supposed to live. Like, are we supposed to live with these big trees? Because then that kind of makes sense how a lot of these problems would go away. You wouldn't really have to work, or there wouldn't really be starvation because giant trees would produce giant fruit and shelter. And it also said that there was like water coming from the tree because the tree's roots were in the great deep, and now no more trees will grow their roots in the waters of the deep. But just sorry, long story short, just super fascinating, and yeah, I just want to know about the giant trees.
I appreciate the long story because I've seen images people's posted. I think of Devil's Tower and the comparison between that and tree stumps and all that stuff. I've not looked into it in any great depth. There's videos on it that I should probably watch. It's been a while since I said to people I would watch those, so thank you for the reminder. Yes, it is a mystery, and it's intriguing for sure.
Yeah, I agree. The whole giant tree thing is very interesting. I kind of looked into that a little while ago, but What else did you
feel-
find with it? Like, you can talk a little bit about that because I mean, I'm interested if everybody's good with that.
Well, I've always heard the story like so it talks about a giant tree in the book of Daniel, and sorry if this is triggering anybody, but it's a good it's good like just look at it as historic information if anything, but like so Daniel talks about the king having a dream about this giant tree, but I wanted to actually find texts that specifically talk about a tree really existing, not as a metaphor. And Ezekiel 31, they're referring to like the creator is saying, oh, Egypt's going to collapse. And it's comparing to this tree that used to be, sounds like the biggest tree to ever exist. And it literally took up the whole earth and it was chopped down. And it goes into great detail. And it's really sad. I've actually been crying about it for the last 2 days.
Oh, no.
Because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like there was this beautiful tree. And like we were all happy under the tree and now it's gone. So I don't know. I just really want to know though.
Tree hugger.
A tree hugger. I just really want to know because I think it's a very beautiful idea. And I've been thinking about this a lot because I had this epiphany when I was watching this scuba diving video of these these fish living in the coral. And I was like, oh my gosh, the fish, they just spend their whole day. They live in the coral. They eat from the coral. Like, what if that was like humans? And then reading this thing about this giant tree, I don't know, it just makes more sense. Like, I don't know. We're not supposed to have this like 9-to-5 stressful life. So.
Oh, I completely agree. But I have like, how would, okay, so if the tree was in fact like that big, right? How would they cut it down? Like that becomes like one of my questions as well. How would you even go about that? Right. With what the technology that they didn't have at that time, right? Like, I mean, that just leads to so many other questions as well.
That opens up another can of worms because there were a couple trees that were giant, and in the Enoch, it says the angels came down. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But what it's saying is, what's crazy is I heard somebody made the argument that it wasn't the evil ones, it was the holy ones, because they knew the giants could climb the trees and escape the flood. So they had to cut them down. So the giants had to be killed. Anyways, I don't know. Well, I don't know exactly what happened, but that's another theory that's like, ooh.
It was the Canadians, because Canadians just love chopping wood.
We gotta stay warm, eh, bud? It's cold up here. Yeah, that's very interesting. Oh, sorry, who was trying to say?
Hey, this is DCO. I did want to add.
DCO?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you? It's been a while since we've heard from you. Go for it.
Yeah, it's been a while. I had a sister visiting from Hawaii, but yeah, the mystery that I really would like to figure out is the architecture of the past, because that's like a man-made thing that I feel like we could figure out. And I don't know, I guess who would be the architect if they were all connected during like a past civilization, because I do see a lot of connections between the design. So I guess it goes into Tartaria, that idea. So trying to figure out, for the most part, who built those, how they designed it, why they designed it, the technology behind it, most of that stuff, because I feel like we could actually use that to this day. We can still bank on some of the technology that they used in those buildings, but it's kind of hidden from us. So I guess that would be my take.
Yeah, my answer would be almost identical to yours, but less focused on the architecture itself and more on the building techniques and how did they do this? Where did they quarry all this stone from? How did they get it from place to place? How did they, like there's a lot of questions about a lot of those old cathedrals and stuff like that.
In the design, right? Like, was it one architect? Was it like one master architect that taught a lot of architects below that went into different places? Or I don't know. That's a really interesting thing because it comes down to knowledge, right? Like building technology, like what you're saying that's useful stuff, in my opinion.
Hey guys, it's way worse than you think. The giant tree things, that's cool, but it's much worse than that, because if they were giant trees, there would be chunks of trees, giant trees all over the place, but there isn't. So, but what they were they were buildings. Like most of the tallest peaks of mountain peaks, they used to be pyramids. They got melted and they were destroyed when some kind of event happened. Massive amounts of heat destroyed all the ancient civilization that used to exist here. And I can show you pictures of like, giant mountains that are half melted and half temple. Like temples are still built in it, like little pockets of survival. So you can see that the mountains were actually buildings. Whole cities, like mountain ranges, those used to be cities. They got melted down to nothing. So what we had, those plateaus in the middle of the desert, those used to be cities. Very advanced.
Are you talking about the movie? Are you talking about the movie when the buildings cried out?
They were built by, there was a civilization of giants, right? And they had really advanced technology. Like it's in the cartoon. It's in the cartoon Robotech. If you watch that Robotech cartoon, they tell you right there the technology, the giants, everything's in there.
Hey, but are you talking about that documentary when the buildings cried out?
Well, Jerry made that documentary. He's one of the first to.
Dude, dude's trolling everybody. He's doing his damnedest not to laugh, man.
He's
trolling everybody, man.
He brought it to light, but I don't really recommend him.
Oh man, that dude's a troll.
He's kind of like a dick about it, but like there's other people that have picked up on it and they're showing the proof, and like there's way better channels. Like one is what's it, Spartan Red. Go to Spartan Red. He's got a great channel. There's a few good ones that are showing the melted buildings, but Jerry's just kind of crazy. He kind of turns you off to it, but he's definitely smart. He figured it out.
He's trolling everybody. You could tell. He edits it so many times because he can't help but not laugh.
Nah, man, it's real. I'll put up some pictures that are undeniable. I'm going to put some pictures on the live stream so you guys can, just a few, not too many, like maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, but you have to understand though that this is just all speculation, right? You seem very convinced, but that's kind of like this conversation, right? These are the mysteries that I'm not done talking. These are the mysteries, right? We can't go. We weren't actually there. We can speculate, right? And it's fun to talk about those things, but right, it's not necessary.
I'm not just speculating. I'm not the type of person who will say a speculation like a fact. No, I am speaking now because I'm speaking. I'm trying to finish my sentence. I'm speaking now after 3 years of looking into it. I'm beyond any speculation. This is fact. I'll show you that these buildings used to be temples. I can prove it to you. It's not a speculation.
That was the case, and you say all the mountains. No, there's definitely a few melted buildings that are now dilapidated and not located here and there. But if that was the case, you could go to any mountain, dig a mine shaft into it, and you'd find internal rooms to these buildings and whatnot.
Dude,
there are worldwide. There are a few. I just said, don't interrupt me, please. There are a few. There's no doubt. There are a few of what you're talking about located here and there. But as far as all the mountains in this, that's
because they got melted. They were melted, so it's on the only pockets of survival are a few. There's only a few. Most of it got melted, so you're not going to find it. But you will find metals and things and the irrigation systems. Okay, like those buildings, they tapped into the lower table to get the water. So that's why after they got melted, it was actually made to look like a waterfall coming out there. Like the waterfalls, those were part of the irrigation systems for those giant buildings. And now they're just waterfalls because the whole thing got transformed. And it's in the movie I Am Mother. Watch the movie I Am Mother. How they prepared the earth for the new civilization that was going to become.
But hold on. Okay, John, you're quoting movies as like evidence, right? And
movies is where the elite put the truth.
Remember, it's just speculation, right?
Movies are where the elite put the truth. And then the textbooks is where they put all the lies. The movies is where they put the truth.
Wow.
Okay.
There's no way it's happening on the scale you're talking about. There's a few isolated.
Just let me show you. Don't mind what I said.
I've seen the videos. I've seen the videos. Sorry.
I'll just put a few pictures.
Yeah, and that's fine. And right there, it could have happened, right? The way that you're saying, there's a possibility, but there's a possibility that it didn't, right? That's the whole point we're trying to make, is it's just speculation. We can't go back and witness these things happening.
Well, we've seen the finger of God weapon, what that weapon can do, how it could, and if you put a bunch of them in the same spot, it'll melt a building. But what I'm trying to say is, for example, you saw what happened in Paradise, California. All those houses were gone, but the trees were still there. They used the weapons there, so Paradise was lost. We're in the end times, and it's all been planned out. So they told us, right?
But
Paradise.
we're always in the end times. Everybody thinks we're in the end times, right? This is just promoting fear, and that's not something
What I'm
we want
saying
to do,
is that
especially during. I'm still talking. Especially during this show, right? We're doing metal takeover, so we're still talking, right? We have to distinguish that is speculation and not fact.
Right. Oh yeah, it's speculation. Okay, whatever you call it speculation. I'm just saying, from my end, I've seen enough to know. But anyway, I was just trying to say that Paradise was lost, just like they wrote that book. Milton was the name of the dude, and the Devil's Advocate was the name of Satan there. So I'm just saying, it's all been told. It's all being told to us. Milton wrote Paradise Lost, and then we lost. It's all connected, so you just got to see the. But I'll post some pictures.
And John, that's great. Like, I enjoy talking about speculation, right? Putting the pieces together, but we still have to realize that that's what that is.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily. Well, I could prove it if you saw all the stuff that I've seen, but definitely it is as far as what exactly happened. Yeah, we can only speculate. But there was a destruction, and there was an advanced civilization before this that we can see, and they put it in the movies a lot. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Yeah, and I mean, I do agree that there was definitely, well, the way that they even, coined what is advancement, right? And I think that I would say that we're not necessarily advancing right now, but yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, so I want to get back to what DCO and Lou were talking, though, about the architecture and the technology, because I think that was interesting. And I've thought about that as well. So I kind of wonder from that perspective, and I guess I watched that long documentary, The Lost History of Flat Earth, but with the technology, I'm interested in that as well. I think that's very interesting, and that is a big mystery. But do you think that the ether itself, the energy within the ether itself has changed? Do you think that we could even harness energy like they did if we had that technology that they had back then?
I don't know if he's here, but I mean, I think it's definitely possible. It's obviously speculation, but I've seen a lot of interesting videos and stuff regarding that particular topic, and yeah, I think it's possible because there's a lot of strange things in history, right? And nobody can explain them; they're unexplainable. And even with today's modern technology, right, we can't replicate it. So you have to ask, how did they do it? And that's the whole point. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
When it comes, like what you're referring to is like this idea of like some lost free energy tech from, all that that goes along with the whole Tartaria narrative, which I'm not 100% sold on. I'm not 100% sold on that we're harnessing free energy out of the air and everything like that. Like, not saying that that's not possible. That may be a possibility.
I'm not 100% sold either, Lou.
Yeah, no, that may be a possibility. Now, let's assume that it was a possibility at one time, and if we had the same technology, well, then of course it would still be possible now. Maybe like the Schumann resonance changes and stuff like that, but you would just have to, fine tune your tech to match the right frequencies and things.
Well, that's just what I'm saying. Like, but we see like with how the sky clock and how that changes with like everything shifting, the energy changes. I mean, I feel the effects of that. So that's just why I asked the question, because I've just been thinking about that. Like, if the energy within like the ether itself potentially changes based upon that.
I agree with kind of that sentiment of we were harnessing the energy from the ether. And that's because in my opinion, and from what I observe plants doing, that's kind of what they're doing. Their roots are going deeper into the ground, and the ground has to be wet. And then they're trying to reach higher into the sky to kind of create that potential difference. And that's why they're called plants. And that's why we also call them power plants, right? They harness energy. So definitely, in my opinion, this was technology that was used in the past, and a lot of the buildings did use this technology, and that's why some of them were next to water. So, in my opinion, that's how they control us, is through energy. And if we actually understood how simple it could be, I think there's a chance that we can harness that energy. And that's just my opinion, just from what I've seen. I know that there's also electrostatic potential energy that we can harness by like going up and down and doing all those things. So that's just my opinion, throwing it out there.
Does anybody have the giant axe? Does anybody here have the giant axe image? I don't know. Side topic from topic.
No, that's
5
fine.
minutes
Yeah.
ago.
If anybody has it to post, Sunny.
I just thought I'd ask if someone has it. I can't find it.
Well, DCO, you said that you think that's how they're harnessing. I think they're harnessing our energy in a different way, because at birth, when you get your foot put on that hospital birth record, they then because that's your future labor and your future pledge. It's a bet on like how much you're going to pay taxes, essentially, and then it underwrites the public debt as well. But essentially, when you put your foot on the hospital birth record, or your mom does, and they monetize it and turn it into a saleable security, like that is your potential, your future energy. They are taking it from birth. Every single person who is underneath the corporate government, that's how I think they're taking our energy, controlling us.
Yeah, and that's the physical energy, right? Like that's the labor. That's like the physical stuff that we do here, but there's other energy, in my opinion, that's not physical, right, that they can also harness, right? Like it's our ability to think, our ability to question, all those things. So in my opinion, we can't let them. We shouldn't let them harness that energy about questioning anything. Like I should be able to question anything, even if it's the dumbest thing. And that's, I don't know how that links to architecture, but yeah.
Well, it's funny. They say don't question anything, and that the dumbest thing ends up being flat Earth, right? But it ends up that flat Earth is actually the biggest, most important thing. So anything they say is, oh, don't question it, it's dumb. Might as well.
They also say, like, you know how they talk about the Dark Ages? Well, the reason they call it that is because before that, it was Tartaria, or whatever you want to call it. So it was all lit up. There was light everywhere. There was free energy, free light everywhere. The whole place was lit up, sparkling. And then the destruction happened. All that went to dark. So then we had the Dark Ages after that,
And we're so distracted. Like I'm pretty sure, I'm just throwing it out there, that if people were not so distracted with a bunch of different things and we all focused on trying to figure that out, I'm pretty sure that we could, right? But it's a collective thing. Like we all have to kind of work on it together. And for the most part, the majority, the collective, is that they're just happy being able to plug it into the wall and like the convenience of it. They're just being born into it, right? Like people don't know that we used to have to connect to the internet with dial-up. It's like they're like, well, you don't have Wi-Fi. It's like it's so easy for generations to forget what happened in the past, and so that's a big issue.
I told my 8-year-old a couple of months ago that when I was a kid, that there wasn't always an internet. That when I was a kid, there was no internet. And she was like, had this look on her face, like, what? Like, really? Tell me more about this.
And that's one generation, dude.
Yeah.
Like the energy thing, I'm pretty sure it got lost through generations and just by distractions and rewriting books and look this way, not that way. Like, and I'm pretty sure, okay, this is speculation, but I'm pretty sure that there's someone out there that knows how this works. They're just not being looked at. Like, I'm pretty sure someone out there has the answer, but they're just not being highlighted. And that's just speculation, but I just feel that inside.
I think before we'll ever be able to figure out the energy thing, we'll have to figure out our own freedom from the monetary system.
That's another.
All right. Look, everyone, that's not a mystery though. What's your favorite? What's your favorite mystery?
Mystery itself.
I don't know. If you don't think that the monetary system is a mystery, then because that is the biggest mystery.
No.
I found out about matter.
I'm just saying.
I'm just
like
saying.
if you want to phrase it that way, fine. But you just keep on kind of coming in on what people are saying and saying, "Hey, let's talk about this instead." If that's what's the mystery, then I guess I don't know. Maybe you missed the question.
Yeah, we can ask the question. We can preface it again. If you could know the truth behind any mystery, which would it be?
The biblical one.
Okay, did you want to be more specific? Because I mean,
like whether
goes into you'd like.
Everyone like views the Bible as either 100% real or 100% not, whether they're believing in God or not, I guess. And that's a blanket statement. It's not set in stone. But I personally, like, I really like what I see in the Bible and what I hear, but at the same time, I would like to be able to verify some of that past stuff, but like, there's no way to be able to verify that past, you know?
Right. Okay, so that would be the mystery that you would want to know. So do you I guess do we even want to did you want to continue talking about it? Because we kind of let everybody else go a little bit more in detail if you'd like.
No, I've gotten to talk about the stuff I wanted to talk about, and then you'll ask me the actual question, and so I mean, I'll just listen.
Okay, all right. But no, that is a big mystery. The Bible, that is a good one.
I'm surprised nobody's said the biggest mystery, which in my opinion, and I think we've all thought it, is how did we get here and how old is Earth, right? I'm pretty sure we've all thought how old this place is and what we're doing here, how we're even in existence, what we're made of, etc. You know, that's the mystery for me that it tops all of them.
Well, you haven't asked everybody yet.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see, but I don't think anyone was going to ask it, so I was just going to put it out there.
But I really appreciate the conversation thus far.
I've got one for you. How do the people with the Cogdis get out of the Cogdis? That's the mystery.
Multiple ways, too many to count.
How do you think they get out of the Cogdis? What's your opinion?
I don't know. I don't understand how certain people come from complete delusion and it's like something changes in them. I have some speculation, but even the speculation doesn't answer how.
I think the ones that hang on the longest are the ones that have the complete mental breakdown.
Yeah, like the longer you hold on to it, the worse it gets when the realization kicks in.
Mm-hmm. That's why when I say don't be the last one on your block to believe you're on a spinning ball, I'm saying that because I mean it. You gotta like help yourself out here. If you wait,
I think it goes deeper than that because it doesn't have to be just this topic. It has to. I think it goes to just truth in general because you have people who are just willingly asleep or whatever, but somehow, somewhere, they get called out of that, and I guess that's where I see kind of part of the answer. I think there's some kind of calling that is cool to them, and not all of them answer. But that's kind of a mystery, I suppose.
Okay, so I'd like to answer the question since I opened my big mouth.
Go for it, Sunny. What's the mystery?
What is the greatest mystery that I want to know the answer to? Is that the question?
Yes. Well, basically, if you could know the truth behind any mystery, which would it be?
Okay, here we go. This is going to be great. So the greatest mystery is I want to know the mystery of my own history. That means I want to know like who the people were before me. Who were they actually? Where did they live? Where did they come from? What adventures did they have? What failures? What successes? What made them cry? What made them laugh? Who were they? What did their neighborhood look like? I want to know going back all the way. I want to know who were these people? Who were the people in my family? Because I don't know them. I've been disconnected from my history. Like there's so many missing pieces that I can't even put it together. There's no continuity. There's no line that I can take that's going to be continuous. It's just going to be dead end here, dead end there. So I'd really like to know, and this also answers the questions, because if I go all the way back, then I would be able to know the history of these people that were in my lineage, let's say, but also what was happening with Earth all the way back. I want to know all of it, how it was created. What are the mechanisms that work in the sky clock? Things like that. I'm done.
I've got a little one that's not like the greatest mysteries for me, like a side thing is I'd like to have the keys to the Vatican vaults and just let loose in there and see what they've got.
There's someone in your family that knows, so that mystery. Yeah.
Hey, what if they just don't have anything and it's just one massive troll?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I've wasted my my wish or whatever.
There's someone in each one of our families that knows the answer to all these questions, would know which parts of the story are trolls and which ones are real. You'd have the answer to almost every kind of question you can imagine if you knew who your people were. What tribe did you come from? How did we live? How did we survive? What skills could have been brought forth that were disconnected from from more recent generations? Disconnected. What would we know if we were connected, fully connected with our past?
Yeah, because most of us don't know a lot, do we? Like the Native Americans seem to have a good relationship with their family to know history and things, but I don't know shit about anything from where I'm from.
Seems to almost have been a plot.
Yeah, see,
I hate to say it.
Almost. I think there was.
There was a plot against everybody.
About my
There was a plot against everybody, but each plot was different. So for white people, let's say, they devised a plot that would demolish or destroy every different race in different ways. Or I shouldn't say race. Every different peoples, any different people anywhere here on Earth, they devise ways to damage each one of us in different ways, depending on the culture.
So the Tartarian kind of thing where all the kind of technology of how the buildings are made and the tunnel systems are all kind of identical over the whole of the world. Do you think that there was one kind of type of people, or it was just one type of culture?
Excuse me.
Well, think about it. Tartarian.
Yeah, that's true. But if
Aaron,
I think
Maybe
they were every type of person living all together. I think it was a conglomerate.
Well,
So
here's the
shared,
thing, right?
yeah, shared culture. Then
Maybe they were the Greeks. You know what I mean? Maybe they were the Greeks.
Yeah.
Because the Greeks come from there, and they talk about Aryans being descended from Aryans, men from the north. So
Caucasus.
Orion. Yep.
Some places in Turkey.
Is Iran kind of Aryan as well? There's stories that Iran is connected to the Aryan.
But see, I found something out about my family, right? About how, history's been changed and we forget who we are. You know how everybody knows about the black nobility families and all that stuff. And there's a lot of misconception about these black nobles, these black noble families. Chances are you're probably black noble if you're from Europe. The way you can tell is you look at your coat of arms, and if you have a red rose on it, you could be black nobility, right? Member of the black noble family. The weird thing is I've always heard stories, oh, we're black Irish. Oh, we're black Irish. And it didn't really make sense until, I started looking into it and what lands were owed to us and how it was forfeited. And so, yeah, there's a large amount of land that's occupied. They've stolen our land. Anyway.
Sure.
They have stolen our property.
They've stolen our heritage.
Mystery then,
Property,
Josh?
yeah.
Sorry, I missed it.
No, it's not really a mystery. It's just some things that I've been finding out about my own history, about my own family line.
I see. Okay.
And then, like the mystery that I would like to know about is a toss-up between, because I don't really want to know the final mystery of Yah, because that will be revealed when the new heaven and the new earth, in that instant before it's restored. So, I would say, what exactly year are we in? How many years past the death of Messiah are we truly? And yes, that is how the whole world judges their time right now, is by the Christian death.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking about that recent too, Bufo. Or Bufu.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe it is what they say either. But yeah, that is a good mystery. I'd want to know the answer to that one too.
And something else about the what do you call it? I forget. Never mind. Probably wasn't important.
Oh, okay. Well, if you remember, feel free to say. I just want to welcome Zulu Hotel. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, welcome to the server.
Thank you.
Have you been in the server for a long time?
No, I have not. This is like one of my first. This is my second time listening in, actually.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so right now we're doing a show or a program called Precious Metal Takeover. So we have like a themed question, but then we also speak to new people that come in. So how did you find the server?
My friend Rachel invited me to the Flat Earth Discord, and I guess I was just looking to see if anything was running, and I don't know. Is this the only live stream running right now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we always have the one live stream. Well, there's two bots. Sometimes it'll go into the live stream too, but yeah, most of the time it's just the main one going.
So is this like Flat Earth related too?
Well, yeah, so that's the precious metal takeover is it's kind of we just do it to get a little bit of a break, and the mods and admins have to mute their mics, and the silvers and golds take over the live stream. So when there's nobody new to talk to, we just have a themed question where we just get the conversation going and, you know, chat with each other. So that's just what we were doing now, but then, you know, I saw you. So we can stop the conversation and we can talk about any questions that you have about the earth or anything like that that you would like to discuss.
Well, I mean, I'm an adamant flat earther, I guess, at this point. There's only a few unanswered questions, but I think they're the key to common ground between everyone.
Okay, so would you like to tell us how you came to the realization, or how you say you're an adamant flat earther, I believe was what you said?
Well, adamant meaning I'm never going back.
Yeah. So when did you start looking into the subject? What was it that made you realize for sure that it was flat, if you want to share all that with us?
Okay. What made me look into it was 9/11 groups on Facebook had people arguing about the Earth being flat. So they were in agreement about 9/11, but they were in disagreement about the Earth, which I found really interesting. So I looked into it. Eventually, found some like Eric Dubay videos. But the realization actually is funny because once I realized that the sun is spiraling in a cone over the Earth, that I was able to prove to myself the Earth was flat because the definition of the word spiral says flat plane in it. I don't know if you knew that.
Sorry, what you said spiral and flat plane? What was the correlation? What did you say, sorry?
So the solar analemma is a figure 8 in the sky that you'll see over a year of taking a picture of the sun's position.
Okay.
But it's really only half of the picture. If you take a mirror image of that picture and put it next to it, you'll see the actual cone that the sun is spiraling in, a Fibonacci spiral. So the sun goes high and tight in the sky, but it's also moving slowly in the summer solstice. It's actually doing its tightest circle in the center of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then
you're talking about
as
the dilemma.
the solar analemma, yeah, it's if you look at the solar analemma, it's half of a cone shape. If you, it's a cone shape. Sorry, there's dogs barking.
No, it's all good. We can't hear that. I'm just listening to you.
No, so I realized that the sun was doing a spiral overhead, like over the Earth. So it's high and tight in the middle for the summer, and then it descends after June 22nd. It starts its descent, and it gradually widens and descends, but it also gets faster to maintain a 24-hour period, 24-hour day. But once I came to the conclusion that the sun was in a spiral, that I looked up the word spiral, and the definition says gradually widening or tightening curve either around a central point in a flat plane or about an axis so as to form a cone.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I've heard that definition.
Yeah, you can Google it right now. Just type in spiral definition, and it actually is describing the sun's movement.
Yeah, I think that NLMers are something that often get overlooked. But you know, if you compare the globe model against the flat Earth, the NLMer itself makes no sense on the globe because they're equal hemispheres, right? But if the southern hemisphere is larger on a flat plane, right? And what do we see when you do the NLMer? You see that the figure 8 isn't perfect. It's wider in the southern portion, right? And it converges in the northern portion, so you've got an unequal figure 8. It doesn't make sense if you've got equal hemispheres on a globe. It makes perfect sense if you've got an extending out topographical plane of existence, right?
Well, I mean, it's just, yeah, exactly. but everything to me just points to, I mean, it's all hiding in plain sight. I think that's what the phrase "hiding in plain sight" means. I think it's a reference to the Earth being a
I just
plane.
also wanted to say there's another definition to spiral, and it's a verb a human will experience if you tell them they've been lied to about the shape of the earth.
Yes, we also use that as a definition. Yes.
Well, it also explains why in the Fibonacci spiral they refer to it being governed by the golden ratio, and the sun is golden light, so it all clicked to me that the golden ratio is referring to the sun's Fibonacci spiral. That's the conclusion I came to. I've never heard anyone say that, but that's what I thought. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, that's cool, man. I definitely learned a lot there, and thank you for your idiom as well with hiding in plain sight, because I've been doing a list of flat Earth idioms, and I'm gonna add that to it. So appreciate it.
also I think the Nirvana song "I'm on a Plane" I think is a reference to being on flat Earth. For some reason.
I don't actually know if I know that song. Maybe if I heard it. I don't know. It's not coming to mind.
It says, "I'm on a plane, do. I can't complain." That song.
He did it on Unplugged in New York. It was really good.
I'm on a plane.
Yeah, it's just if you want to look it up, the song is called "On a Plane."
On a plane. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, maybe Sunny and Enoch can play it for us later. Well, Sunny's still here, but
Hell yeah, do it.
Well, he spells it Plain, but I think he's hiding his song title in plain sight.
Wait a minute. What did you say? I got distracted.
oh, I said they were talking about a Nirvana song. I'm on a plane or something, and I was just saying, oh, maybe if Sunny and Enoch are around, they can play it for us later, because I don't think I'm familiar with it, but I might just have to.
I don't know that one particular, but I want to do a cover. I just had this epiphany. Cover of Draw the Line. Why does the globe lie all the time? Whoa, yeah. Draw the line. Why does the globe lie all the time? How's that sound?
Nice. If you want, do you want to play out at the end of the personal takeover? We haven't heard you play in such a long time. If
I
you'll
could
be
play
around.
like maybe just I could play just like a improv or something maybe.
Yeah, like so in about we got about another hour. So if you're going to be around,
Please, dude. He's got a new audio interface and everything. It's so amazing.
Oh, nice. Okay, Sunny, you got to stick around for a bit.
Check it out with Nirvana. There's a couple of strange songs that they put out, right? Like that song "On a Plane," that song at the top, right? Then that other one, the one where he's talking about no, he swears he doesn't have a gun.
Come as you are.
Yeah.
Well, then there's Lithium, where it's like the most talked about metal there is right now.
That reminds me of the Secret Covenant by John D. Rockefeller.
Okay, so sorry, Zulu, what were you saying to say?
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought it was you. You were lighting up. Maybe somebody else. I cut them off. I don't know who else was trying to talk.
Sorry, that might be me hot mic, and I was singing to myself, and I embarrassingly realized I've got my mic open. Sorry.
That's okay, no problem. Not a problem at all. So Zulu, then, when did you start looking into this? Like how long ago?
I would say it's about 5 years ago.
Okay.
I was pretty adamant about the Earth and space and the ages and the wobble of the globe and 26,000 year cycle. And I mean, I was pretty into space before I was into flat Earth. So I think that's how I realized that the space part is fake, because I knew enough about it to like be able to counter argue against it to myself. So,
Have you ever watched David Flynn?
I have not.
I was just curious because he talks about the 26,000 year cycle.
I find it fascinating how, if it's a lie, the globe thing being a lie, like, it's so elaborate. I mean, it's so well thought out. It's scary how so much of it kind of makes sense to you in passing.
Well, they've had a lot of time to organize the lie. And to add to it.
It's been strategically done as well, I would say. Yeah. And they understand, right? Humans, how we work. They can manipulate us. Or try.
When we say they and who are we talking about? That's the big question, because we're like, they're lying to us. Who are they?
Well, I guess it would depend on what context. I mean, the people that wrote history, right? The media, whatever they're propagating.
Have you seen the video of the Pfizer CEO? If you go on BitChute and you type,
we're not really supposed to talk about that.
Oh yeah. My bad.
If you want to DM me a link, I'm more than happy
All right.
to watch it. But we can't talk about that in the live stream because of YouTube terms and conditions. We don't want the stream to get taken down. So,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. It's totally fine. Just so you are aware. But welcome. I just want to say welcome to the server. I'm glad that you found us. And yeah, if you said you had questions or something that was kind of like a general thing, but if you wanted to share that or start a discussion on that, you can do that if you'd like.
The questions that I have are: if the Earth is a plane, what's in the great deep? What is underneath the Earth? And also, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything. I might just be hot micing. Sorry.
Oh no, that was me. Like, I was speaking to myself. My bad.
Was what's under the Earth and what's holding it up, and where is it suspended? Like, in what space is it suspended in?
Right. I think what you mean is like you're trying to envision the perspective of holding the Earth in the palm of your hand, right? But nobody has that perspective. We just have the perspective of the surface of Earth that we're standing on. And, there's just no way to, I mean, you can conceive it in your mind, but it doesn't make it reality. We're just not able to answer that question.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like one of those unanswerable things, but I feel like there does have to be, I feel like there's got to be some answer, but I don't know if we'll ever be able to know what it is.
Yeah, some things are just inherently unknowable. Maybe we find out when we die, and I don't know what happens there, but, some people think you go somewhere else, and maybe we get more answers then. It's maybe the next step. I don't know.
And then also my other question is, if you're on the edge of the Earth in Antarctica, then no matter whether you're on the north, south, east, or west quadrant, you can still see the same stars, the southern stars. Because I would feel like they would only be visible on one side or the other, but not around the whole entire edge. That's the only remaining questions I have, really, I think. Like some of the main, like the two big ones that I wish I knew.
Okay, so it's basically saying that, southern locations see the same stars, right? But what you have to understand is they're not seeing the stars at the same time. Because, yes, it would be impossible for you to be in 3 different southern latitudes and, see the Southern Cross, for instance, all at the same time. But that's the problem. It's not night at the same time. The stars are rotating. So, of course, you're going to see those same stars when your turn comes around, right? And the stars are rotated.
Oh, cool. Thanks. That's good. Okay. That's helpful.
Actually. Yeah, no problem.
My cousin is listening in right now too, and she's in the same boat as me, as us.
Nice. You can tell her to join, and she can ask questions whenever she wants to. So make sure you invite her in.
Yeah, I'll send her an invite. She can't think of any questions right now. She's pretty thorough. She does a lot of research.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how many questions you get when you, look into different topics. Like maybe you want to look directly into physics, or it directly relates to the Earth, right? There's what you experience, but there's always new stuff to learn, and I've learned a lot in my short time here. I love everybody, and you should definitely invite her. It's not something she's gonna regret.
Well, that's what I'm here for. Is I do want to hear other. I want to. You guys are all so smart. So just generally intelligent, and I know I'll learn something too. So that's why I'm here.
Praise us, because we're gonna get broken then.
How many Americans are here, by the way?
Oh, hello everyone, family.
I'm a Texan.
Yeah,
I'm in Florida.
There's quite a few Americans. Yeah.
I'm a Romanian speaking American.
I'm a Utah.
English.
Welcome.
Did somebody here say they were in Florida?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so tomorrow there's a meetup in Palm Bay and one in Miami.
Oh, okay, cool. I might go to that.
I so envy you guys.
We're having them. There should be the next week. Then should be in Palm Bay. I think next week, I can't remember if it's in Jupiter or Fort Pierce, and then the following week will be the other. So message me and I can give you some details.
What's your accent, man?
What's your name?
Where are you from?
Where would you guess?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking.
Now, I grew up in southern Indiana.
J.E. Barrington.
Somebody asked what your name was, sir. The guy
J.E.?
talking about the flat Earth meetups.
Yeah, I go online by Wilson Tarbuckles. Well, my real name's Leonard.
Hey, Leonard. Can I just congratulate you on your role you earned last night, man? Good job.
Oh, why, thank you.
No worries.
What's today's question?
Oh, I'll get to it in a second, actually, Geppy. But I just want to say to Zulu, did you say it was your cousin or whoever was there that you were going to share the link to? Just to let her know that we have Ladies' Night on Fridays. It starts at 4 Central Standard Time, so she is welcome to join that as well. That's where all the men have to mute and the ladies take over the live stream.
Okay, I'll send her a link.
Okay.
It's where the ladies take over the world.
Last night was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, that's good. I missed it. I wasn't around. But yeah, I think it's been going, from what I hear, it's been going well. Okay, so Geppy, our question today is, if you could know the truth behind any mystery, which would it be? And we're not doing Flat Earth. You gotta pick something else. You can think too, because I know you just so if you need a minute.
Ezekiel's wheels.
Pardon?
I would like to know the mechanics and the mechanism of Ezekiel's wheels.
Yeah, I have something about that, but I don't know if this is live stream worthy of talking. Right?
Get the tolerance of the bearings in Ezekiel's wheels.
Well, I don't think it's a mechanical device.
Sorry, it's just something me and Get were talking about earlier. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, it's a wheel spinning inside a wheel.
Yep.
But I'm not sure I remember if it was
With
described
eyes
if
all
one is
over.
bigger than the other, or they are equal in size.
Remember, with eyes all over and wings
Yeah,
covering
yeah.
it. It's an angel in full light glory.
Yeah.
They're very terrible things to behold, man. When, say, somebody does something like dimethyltryptamine, they tend to have an experience where they see these fractal beings. They call them clockwork elves.
Yeah. Well, I haven't.
After I had an
I haven't done
experience,
those drugs.
well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying from experience, right? After I had a profound DMT experience,
Yeah.
I decided to read, the Bible. And for some reason, Ezekiel came up, right? Because there was a bunch of things pointing to it at that time, things that I was studying. And when I looked into it and got to that part, it just hit me like, 1,000-watt light bulb turning on above my head. Just, ding! Oh, wow, that's what that was.
Yeah, actually, a couple of days ago, I heard someone, probably here in the server, like saying that the eyes are not an organ. I went on looking for that, and yeah, I did found that they are actually an extension of the brain, the eyes. And it's
a
very
mystery.
fascinating, interesting now, because I know that Ezekiel's wheels, they have eyes all over. So it has to be intelligent, it has a brain.
And several faces. It was the faces is what got me going, oh, that's what it is. Seraphim.
Yeah, and I think
Cherub, or not seraphim, cherub.
it's
right?
some
The
sort
cherub is
of
the
an
covering.
angel. I think it's the angel who holds like the workings of quantum mechanics, like superposition and stuff like that.
Well, they call it Metatron's cube.
Yeah, hypercube.
That
I've
is
seen those
basically
too.
the
Also,
star. It's the star tetrahedron.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what this thing looked like. And the wings weren't exactly wings like you would think, right? The eyes weren't exactly eyes like you would think. The stuff that it's just ringing true, everything. Because I wanted to know the truth about reality. Oh, wow. Anyway, remember like that old school Windows, like 98 screensaver?
Yeah.
It had like a bunch of different colors and it was a square box and it would bounce in the corners and it would morph.
Yeah,
And it
like
would have these spikes coming out.
it was like springing into shape from itself,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what this thing was like, except for it wasn't turning and going from, it wasn't morphing from one shape into another. It was already that shape with these wing type protrusions coming out of it. And these wing type protrusions were just everywhere, but they were like fiery light. It was intense, golden light. And, like on the wings themselves, I could see like patterns. And I've seen a couple music videos, like from, what's his name? Maynard, like Pussifer, couple Pussifer videos. And I'm just like, yep, that's the patterning. It's just crazy. Like the thing that you see with it, or the thing that you see, it's like a morphine fractal, like a kaleidoscope always folding in on itself, like a Doctor Strange movie in the Mirrorverse or Mirror Dimension, right? Or Inception, where the city's folding.
I've
It's
been
like one of those two.
fascinated by this because I was looking in something which some call it like inertial propulsion. But it's actually some sort of redistributing centrifugal force on the same 180 degrees. So you don't allow that weight, a spinning arm, you don't allow the weight of that arm to be distributed on 360 degrees, but only on 180. And then dividing that by 2, you have 90, and that will be like the point of highest impulse, where you have the force discharge, and then all the others, they will be like on 180 degrees, which are sideways, and it doesn't affect, like, it doesn't distribute that weight in the opposite uh, side of that 90 degrees, which is happening when you spin an arm 360 degrees. It distributes up, left, right, and downwards, that weight. Yeah, this principle I've seen patents, and also some mechanical devices, and one of them, they managed to like propel a small boat on water. But yeah, it was low RPM, like one impulse a second, and that was just to demonstrate the principle that you can have actually propulsion. And it's funny because you're not. It can work even in a vacuum. You don't need matter to actually. You don't need this fluid dynamics. You're not using it to propel, or the friction with the ground. It's just like a gyroscopic effect, which you are using to propel yourself. Yeah.
I apologize. I
So,
had to step away. I missed all that. So you're saying like you think it's like what do you think is the cause of it? I'm assuming you're still talking about the Ezekiel's wheel. I'm not familiar with that. Right? Is that what
um,
you're talking about?
yeah, the way I read, they were described like a wheel spinning within a wheel.
Okay.
And I had an idea of a mechanism which I've seen also. I had this revelation in the early 2000s. I was, as a child, I was fixing my bike. I had this speed bike with thin wheels, and yeah, whenever you go into a bump or something like that, my wheels were getting bent, and yeah, then I had to line them at home. And as I was centering them, yeah, I saw that as you hold that wheel in your hand, by the shaft, which is coming out on the both sides, when you hold it in your hand,
Funny, your hot mic
yeah,
is.
the easiest is to hold it from both ends. That's the easiest way. And if you release one hand, one support point, then it will tend to fall down. But the gyroscopic effect, when you spin the wheel, you can cancel one point of support, so you remove one hand, and the wheel will be holding still. It will not fall. It will be like in a satellite fixture, you know.
Has to be a spiritual thing or an electromagnetic thing. Think about it, right?
Yeah,
If it's
it has
spinning
to have
at a fast
such
rate,
implications. Yeah. The gyroscopic
and
effect.
it can use the magnetic field of the lodestone Earth itself
Yeah.
to generate eddy currents for lift,
Yeah.
right? Because it's the right hand rule. It just
Oh
needs
yeah,
to spin
I've
in the
seen also
direction.
these planes with a spinning cylinder, you know, instead of a wing. And yeah, you can make a small drone fly like that. And we even had the ships. They had like lightweight cylinders, towers on the ship. They were spinning, you know, and the way they were spinning, they make the air flow in such a way that it was propelling the ship on the sea.
Crazy.
Yeah, but that's
See,
also
I think the
propulsion
Glocka. Remember the
due
Glocka, the
to
bell?
fluid dynamics. Sorry?
The Glocka, the bell from
Oh,
Nazi Germany. It's anti-gravity
yeah,
propulsion
that is
experiment.
that is a very mysterious thing. I mean, yeah, we don't have any patents or you know,
Exactly, but I
just
think it was working on that
speculations.
same
Yeah,
kind of
but
a principle.
yeah,
This spinning
yeah,
mercury vortex, which creates an eddy current or some kind of medium for
yeah.
the current to work on. I don't know.
I saw. Yeah, I heard that they were using the mercury spin, maybe gaseous. I'm not sure, or liquid.
They were doing
Mm,
like research based off of the ancient Vedics
yeah,
and the Vimanas. I mean,
yeah.
there's temples with schematics.
I know that engine as the Vril engine. That's how
Yes.
I read its name. Yeah,
Now, the Vril,
in
right? What do you know
a
about the Vril?
book about UFOs. Mhm.
What do you know about the Vril, though?
Well, it was about uh, spinning mercury, a vortex, a high velocity vortex, you know, to the point that I think it was losing its state of liquid and it was taking some sort of gaseous and then into plasma. And when it was going into plasma, that means that that mercury gas enters the state of highly charged particles and stuff like that, you know.
Well, you could do that in a vacuum chamber with a pool of mercury. You ever seen a mercury rectifier?
Oh,
Mercury
it will
filter?
boil. Yeah, it will boil.
Well, it doesn't necessarily boil, but the thing is this triode is like only ran because of an arc that started, and once that arc is started, it'll only flow in one way.
Mm-hmm.
And they mainly use them for like old elevators, right? They're really
Yeah.
cool. But, you know, the reason why these lights work anyways, these fluorescent lights, is because of mercury vapor. And it's just a very small amount that is needed to
Hey, you
create.
guys, we've kind of been going on for a while. Do you want to
Achieve
just wrap
plasma.
up your
Sure.
thoughts and then we can
We're taking
get
time.
to somebody
Yeah.
else? Because you guys will just keep going. I know, because it happens
Yeah, I'm
every
sorry.
week. And I got,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's totally fine. And like, I mean, I'm learning, I learned something, right? I have something now I want to look into, Get Me Get, because I wasn't familiar with this wheel that you were referring to. But yeah, if you guys just want to finish your thoughts and then, yeah, we can see if anybody else wants to join in.
Sure, we should look for someone else. Sure, I don't mind.
Well, thanks, Gibby.
We have
No,
time afterwards. Yeah, we have all the time. So go ahead.
Thank you. is or Joshua, did you have anything? I don't want to cut you off either. Did you want to wrap up what you were saying?
No,
Or
it's all right. But I just wanted to say about the vril, it comes from
Mhm.
a tail, like an inner earth tail. These entities that look like us that live under the ground that's able to produce this energy from their chest.
Wow. Interesting.
Because it's
That is
what grows their food and everything. It's their source of light. And I was like, what? That don't make sense. So yeah. That's yeah.
interesting. Okay. Is Napalm around? He's unable or able to unmute.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey, not too bad. How are you?
Good, good, good. Sorry, I'm late to the party.
That's okay. It's nice of you to join us. Would you like to answer the question for today?
Yeah. The question is, know the truth about something, right?
Yeah. So if you could know the truth behind any mystery, which would it be? And we're not doing fodder today.
I would say I would like to know the landscape and the nature of the antediluvian world, pre-flood. Just kind of a better idea or understanding of what the world may have looked like prior to the flood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd be curious to know that as well. Do you have any speculation? Because I mean, what we've been kind of doing is somebody can give their answer, and then we can speculate a little bit if you'd like on what you think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anything would be speculation, but we do have some what appear to be fossil records of things existing in a much larger size than they currently do. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to unpack with just that whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see what the landscape would have been like, how humans and animals interacted, what societal structures were like back then. Speculation would be that it was either something very similar to today, just in a different scale. I don't know. I feel like there'd be so much to try to figure out. You know, was there higher oxygen content, lower pressure, higher pressure, just all kinds of stuff that goes along with it that would be fascinating to learn. And then knowing what comes after, right? Like we already know what has come after to an extent, kind of where we're at today, but prior to that, what was taking place that either caused the flood or caused the creator to flood the whole entire world, you know, just be interesting to see maybe
Can I
what.
ask you something?
Sure.
Do you know how can you get to that world? Or why would it be so hard to get to it?
I mean, it seems like, you know, what I'm talking about would be something that took place within the realm that we currently exist in, but it was just in a different,
Time, yeah. But yeah, I like to say about this that that world is separated from ours by the great waters, the flood itself. That means like to swim through all that just to get there. I mean, there's no other way but swimming.
yeah, I'm just looking
A
at it
lot of
from
swimming.
yeah, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of like knowing the truth kind of being maybe shown through some type of time travel-esque type situation, you know, where you're visited by the ghost of Christmas past and he takes you to the antediluvian
Yeah,
realm.
exactly. That's basically yeah. When Nathan came with the question, I was like, that's a good way to put it. But I think that I'm curious about that as well, and I think that the more I get on in life. I am very curious about what the social structure would have been. Was it similar today? Right? Was the propaganda, was that all the same? Like, how did they have control of people? And everything
Yeah.
back then? I think it would be really
One of my
interesting.
biggest things would be like, what tech did they have back then? Did they work more closely with nature? Did they have similar tech than we have now? Or, all that kind of stuff. There's just so much to unpack with that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the
I agree.
stars were in the corona of the trees. That's how big the trees were.
Yeah. But see, that's lore, right? That's tales.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd like to know the truth of it, right? Like, did they really? Were they actually?
Yeah, I agree. That was a good answer. Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
It puts the Avatar movie to shame.
I never liked that movie. Oh, I mean, it was well done, but I'm not a movie person.
It's not bad. I recommend it. It's entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. It is entertaining. I wanted to welcome Lalo Think. Are you there? You've been typing in the.
Yeah, I am here.
Oh, hi! Welcome to the server.
Thank you.
Have you recently joined, or how long have you been in the server?
I think a week.
Oh, okay. So how did you find us?
It's like this. I was looking at Zoom meetings, see if I can join some random Zoom meetings to talk about any topics, and then I heard about Discord and YouTube. I never thought about it, and I just downloaded it, and I started looking at politics, but then I found out the whole flat Earth thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm into that. I did my research on that.
Oh, okay. So how long ago did you start looking into flat Earth? And you can tell us how you got there, what you think of it, and all of that if you'd like to share.
Well, it's definitely not spending, so
No, it is not. So what proof did you get? What evidence did you find that convinced you of that?
well, it's like they say, all the lies that became beforehand. First for me, it was the whole 9/11, and then I got into the money lie, and just the concept of lying, and then and then I got into the aliens thing, and I'm like, oh, they're lying about that too, and that's when I found out about, like, what about the Earth is flat, and then from there, it's another rabbit hole. And then you're talking about the history, and then it's just another rabbit hole of the history, and that was the biggest mind blowing to figure out what's more, what is more about this. And I think sometimes we stuck on that, thinking about it, like what happened to the giant trees, or what is this reality? I think that's a whole discussion that people have in this server sometimes.
Yeah, and the server is set up so the live stream is basically, well, this is just because we're doing something called Precious Metal Takeover, so it is a little different. But usually, the live stream we talk about facts, things that we can prove. But there are other rooms that we can talk about, like speculation and different things like that. But so it kind of sounds like you just natural progression of like figuring out like fiat currency, it's not backed by anything, right? All of this, like one lie, kind of just led you here. Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, so then life happens. You make life, and now I'm into this, teaching my children, like not teaching them that's flat. It's more to figure it out their own, because you can't just tell them, because then they'll just follow another authority. So I'd rather have them figure out themselves. Go to the telescope, look at the sky, look at the rays, look at scientific methods of proving it. What is this place, instead of just listening to authority, question
That is
everything.
awesome. Yeah, and I think that's the most important part, right? You don't want to tell them the same, make up things and models and claim things that we were taught, right? And I think that that is important to go test these things yourself, to ask questions. And that's okay to ask questions where you're not allowed to in school, right? You can't question the narrative.
So I'm in that like learning, but also being a teacher in the same time to teach them to investigate about trees, nutrition, and stuff like that. And but also I'm learning as well with them, and I'm learning more. And my daughter does when she looks at movies, she says, "Why do they do that? Why can't they just do this?" And it's funny. It's like she's catching on. Both basically questioning, and yeah, she does has a little backfire on it, but at least she questions it, and my son does too. So I'm being a teacher and at the same time learning. So I like the server. So I learn and
That's awesome.
learning about more about the Vatican, learning about other stuff, nutrition and flat Earth, and how to like talk to other people, how to maneuver them to question their own reality. Because sometimes when you tell them about the Earth is flat, they start asking a bunch of your claims, and like no, it's the claims that you have that you have to prove it yourself. You have to prove me that the Earth is spinning. I'm telling you, it's not spinning.
Correct. The burden of proof is with the one making the positive claim.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm telling you, it's not spinning.
Right.
You mind if I teach you what you teach?
Who, myself or to children?
Yeah, if I ask you what you teach, yeah.
Oh, what do I teach?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like, no. Well, I'm a parent, so. Well,
I think
I'm
Oh,
a guardian.
okay. Yeah.
I'm a guardian.
I
So.
thought you were a school teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're all teachers. You're a father. For me, I think like you're a mechanic.
True.
You have to know. You have to learn something about your car. You have to learn something about something. You just don't.
Of course.
Just follow everyone tells you. Oh yeah, gas. It just happens. You at least figure out something. Just go with it. So you have to learn a little bit. And I want to teach my daughter like how to change a tire, how does the car works a little bit, because they have to learn something.
If you don't do it yourself, then you're gonna pay a lot.
Yeah, well, like say, maintenance is always the key. It's just maintenance,
Yeah.
and then if you don't do maintenance, it's going to cost you later on. And so
Exactly.
yeah, that's just same goes with health. Same goes with your mindset. If you just do what you're told, you don't take care of your mind, and someone else will take advantage of it, and it's going to take. Some people do take a long time to figure out that it's not spinning, and sometimes they spiral in control, and sometimes some people just can't figure out what it is and question it.
Foolishness has always been very expensive.
That's what I'm saying, because I feel like this whole flat Earth does question it, and the children do take a toll of mental attack, and that's what
I like to tell to people. Some of them used to ask, "Oh, but what does it matter? How does it change my life? How does it affect? What impact will this have in my life?" And I like to tell them, "Look, we go on a street, we look at a house, yeah, and you tell me, hey, this house is mine." And I say, "Well, I don't believe you." And you say, "Well, you see, there are that many rooms in this house. There is this couch, this color, this shape, and 3 stains on it." Yeah, and we go inside the house, and yeah, your story doesn't match with what we find in that house. So obviously, that's not your house. And I will tell you, you see, because it is my house. That's why you don't know.
Naturally, like you say, yes, naturally, us humans, we trust other people. But at the same time, we have to filter those trolls, those evil people that they want to do bad, and I think we have to have that. I think we've been
But
lied to so much.
this is what they actually do to us in school. They push this heliocentric religion, that we live on a spinning ball, and they took ownership, full ownership of this ball, because it is very limited. If it's a sphere, it's very limited, and we don't know much about the inner workings of this sphere. If we go to too much deep down, they say we're gonna get burned. It's very hot. If we go too high up, uh, it's forbidden because you are entering military airspace. You know,
Like I teach
so
my daughter to look at those keywords because I was at the library and I was looking at those what makes I was looking at kids books about they're teaching the world and they use a lot of ifs, may, theory, and some
yeah,
people translate it to fact and they think it is spinning, but no, they say it may be spinning. You have to look at those keywords. They emit. It's a theory. It's not proven. It's there, but it's may or if is to happen. If gravity was pulling down, if or may, and there's a theory going on. The light may be traveling for it, and that's what confuses some
well,
people. Just
that's
take it
how
as
we
fact.
started. This is how actually they started with this teaching this religion. In the beginning, they were saying it may be spinning. And then they created already this teacher and they told them, well, yeah, teach the children. You believe that this thing, you believe all this that we taught you. It makes sense. You saw that mathematically the calculus matches up. Everything is correct. You believe it wholeheartedly. And this teacher now is going to teach the children wholeheartedly, you know, believing that he's teaching the truth. And that's how he's going to deliver it as a fact, well, truth, not as a belief, actually.
Okay, I'd like to get back to my conversation with Lalo.
Yeah, sure.
So with I just want to say thank you very much for joining the server. That's really I'm really glad that you found us. Was there anything that you had questions on, or I mean, we're doing like Precious Metal Takeover for about the next what do we got, 18 minutes. So we do have a question, and if you'd like to answer that question, I'd like to hear your answer as well. So whatever you would like to talk about.
For me, gold. I think is it the pressure metal for the tag that you guys have, or the actual
Right.
precious
Okay. So
metals?
I can explain. So Precious Metal Takeover, it was something that was created basically for the silver and golds who don't speak up in the live stream as much to have a time frame where they can take over the live stream. We're moderators and admins, and we ask people that talk most of the time to, give others an opportunity to speak because, I mean, it is people sometimes fight for the mic, right? So it is a different environment. So we do talk to new people that come in, but if there is nobody new to speak to, then we have a question that we ask just to kind of keep the conversation going and to get to know each other and just to keep building the community. And it gives us a break from always talking about flat earth as well. So that's kind of what the premise of the show is. But if you have specific questions about flat earth, like we can definitely talk about that, or we can ask you the question. It's whatever you'd like.
So my question goes: what's so important about gold in flat Earth, the actual material? Because I was hearing that in our history they use a lot of gold on these temples to conduct electricity. So it's more of a conductor. What's because then they translate it to money, but is it where's the lost history of the gold or silver or the precious metals that we have?
I don't know, man. You had them last.
You know what? That's a pretty good point when I think like, yeah, what makes these certain metals precious? I think it does have a lot to do with the fact that like gold doesn't corrode, like silver will oxidize, but it doesn't really corrode. Like in copper, these things they don't. They just have natural ability to like be long lasting. They can tarnish but not corrode. You know, that type of stuff. Whatever. Like copper has so many amazing properties. Gold has different properties. You know, silver, all these, and there's more. There's many more. But yeah, I think it is probably has to do with, you know, lost tech that we assume today. We're taught that this tech was newly discovered, that the ancients didn't understand it. But why have they been using these precious metals that have these special properties for so long? And why do they do such a damn good job with it?
They're pro alchemists, bro.
I know that some people hoard it, but they don't know what is it because they think about money, the inflation. But I think there's a bigger purpose than just money. But
It's superconductive. Gold is one of the most superconductive things on Earth. You get 100% input to output ratio. So from A to B, no matter how far the distance is, you'd lose no energy from heat dissipation from A to B if it's pure gold.
Also, like other things, like not metals necessarily, but stones, like diamonds. Like why diamonds? Well, they're super hard. They cut things really fucking well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Why are all these things? Why have they always been highly regarded?
Yeah.
Well, and if you go ahead.
No, it's just because, I mean, I just think of it from the perspective, I was kind of distracted, but like we put a value on that. So they put a value on that. But I get it is like a resource. It is something that is conductive. Yeah, that is a good question. Sorry, Glad, continue.
No, you're good. The last thing I was going to say about that was, just like with the ancients, you know, the rumor is the blue bloods because they had a lot of copper in their blood. Well, the same goes with gold. Because gold is a superconductor, all of your functions will work just a little bit better in your body if you've got a steady stream of a little bit of gold happening in your blood. It's just, you know, 2 + 2. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Colloid gold.
Yeah, don't take a bite of like a $20,000 chunk. That's no good.
No.
Don't grate it up and put it in my water. Like I don't want to do.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
No.
Should I be buying? Should I be drinking
particles have to be
Goldschlager?
much, much smaller.
Should I be drinking Goldschlager? Is it beneficial to have gold
It's not even
flakes
real
in your
gold.
water?
It's like candy.
Yeah.
It's like sugar wafers in there.
Okay, so you say.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there could be gold on it too, but imagine the amount of gold they'd have to fucking have for all that Goldschlager. Get out of here, dude. And it's not that much more expensive.
You telling me that that's not real gold leaf thrown in there?
I think it is. I remember, but there's something they're like, well, let's collect the gold and bring it in and see how much we can get for it. And it's like you can't get basically anything for it.
Well, sure.
From what?
And it's got all that, like, you know, sugary alcohol all over it. Like nobody wants it.
Right.
You'd have to, dude. You'd have to get like 100 bottles.
Yeah, I've never even had it. What does it even taste like?
It's sugary. It's like a liqueur.
Was that Sunny?
It's been so long. I don't even really remember. Was it kind of like
syrupy?
Spicy?
It's
Spicy
syrupy.
almost?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
like,
hot. Yeah, it's a little bit stingy, I guess. Yeah.
If it comes back out the other way, you'll never forget.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
it's one of those situations. Okay. But we got 11 minutes left, and Sunny's there. So, do you want to play us out for a little bit, Sunny?
Oh man, I don't even know what I'm gonna play.
Well, that's okay. Just improvise. Sometimes that's the best thing.
I guess I should use the acoustic for this because I start noodling around in the electric and I'm like, that's not the right tool for this job. Because it doesn't sound that put together if someone's just listening. One second here.
Meanwhile, I have an answer for the question if anybody's interested.
Oh yeah, Matthew Learns. Welcome. Hi, how are you?
Tell us what you've learned. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth about MH370, that Malaysian airline that disappeared. That's what I want to know.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Oh. So, what is the narrative, or what do they tell you?
It's probably pilot. It's probably pilot suicide, and he intentionally tried to fly it off the radar, but nobody knows really why. But that's probably what happened. But I want to know for sure.
Good Lord.
Didn't you know that NORAD?
Say that again?
Whoever was that cut
Like
out.
NORAD, like there's a back door built into every commercial aircraft where it can be autopiloted by external forces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't do that in this case because they weren't aware that it was missing until it was too late.
Who was on that plane?
But I'm saying, like, someone could secretly take over the plane and crash it, and no one will know, like, maybe who even did it. Like the pilots are trying to, change the course, and their, instrumentation isn't doing anything.
That's a possibility, but if that were happening, they would have communicated with the ground control.
Isn't there a way to turn off the instruments so there's no instruments being used in flights? And then they can just go manual, just in case all the computers die?
Once you have the root user, you're God.
Yeah, but if they were in trouble trying to take over, they would have found some way to communicate with the ground. So I think that it was the pilot doing it.
Does anybody know where they were when it disappeared?
Yeah, they know exactly where it was because they turned off the transponder right between.
The problem is these pilots, they have a key access to the airplane. You can't just go in the cockpit and start it. You need a special code to turn it on.
Right, this happened during flight.
Computer access, yeah. And if you don't have that,
initiated.
Yeah, you you have all those buttons. They are useless inside.
Hey, I'm sorry, Get. We can talk for the rest of the night about that. Is Sonny going to play?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I just was saying that was my. I didn't mean to bring up a whole conversation.
No,
you're good.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, and that's okay. Now, yeah, if Sonny wants to play for us, thanks for answering the question, Matthew.
Never know what to play, so it's okay. Don't know where that came from, but there you are.
That was nice. Would you like to keep going? Say yes, Sunny. Just say yes. Just keep going.
Well, okay then.
Okay.
If you insist.
Woohoo! Applause, applause, applause.
Nice job, Sunny.
Thanks, Sunny.
I like to have some kind of a theme, so I hope you could kind of hear the theme. I know some of what I do is a little bit unorthodox. You probably hear that and go, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, but it's
That's
very
all right.
calming. You just have a really good spirit about the music that you play, so appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I never really know what's coming through. airwaves there. So it's good.
I
to
suppose
hear.
if you were angry, then it would be very angry, but you must be in a good mood because it was nice.
Yeah, I'm in a great mood.
Yeah. No, that was the perfect ending to Precious Metal Takeover. It was a good day. I think we had some good conversations. Nathan had a really good question for us today. So thank you to everybody who joined us. And I just want to announce as well, I think it's 2 weekends from now. What's the date? Oh yeah, February 20th. We're doing another break time. So it'll be on logical fallacies. So we have Dre, Dandelion, and Indio who are going to be presenting. So if you have anything that you'd like to add to that, please send myself or Brad a DM and we will pencil you guys in. And thank you to everybody. And congrats to Adam Unsalted and I think Dave Hinkle. They both got promoted to gold. And yeah, thanks to everybody who joined us today. Nathan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I would just say it's not Dave. It was Twad Wazzle. That was it.
Oh yeah, okay. It was Dave before. That's who it was. I was just checking it out. So it was Dave earlier, and Twad Wazzle, and Adam Assaulted. So yeah, congrats to you guys. And thanks, Nathan.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just so tired right now.
I know you're happy. I'm like, are you still there? Come back to us.
Yeah,
Pretty sure this was it.
Sorry, what, Lou?
I was just going to add, I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've actually spoken on precious metals because it was the only time I've been here when it was allowed for me. I didn't break the rules to speak up.
I know. It was.
I didn't.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was great, and I hope we see Zulu and Laylo come back if they're still here and can hear. It was great listening to you guys, speaking with you, and yeah, make sure you go click interested on Brad's event and show up for that because logical fallacies is something that we would all be better off if we all learned that, right? So it's a good way to spend your time.
I'll definitely be there, man.
Yeah, nice. And Lalo, we do this every week. So we do Precious Metal Takeover every week as well. So we're always here from 12 to 2 on Saturdays, Central Time. I don't know what time zone you're in.
Yeah, I don't think you announced either the moderators and admins can unmute as well because PMT is over, right?
Oh, yes, they can unmute now. Actually, if I don't know if India's still here or me maybe can stop the recording.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, awesome. And
yeah,
then, thank you. And then if someone can just stop the event as well. And then, yeah, everybody can unmute. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm going to have to go rest, but it was a great time. Love you all. Take care.
Yes, get some rest, Nathan. Take care.
Is there a place to just keep talking?
Yeah, so now the conversation goes back